And we're rolling. Okay, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm a brand new YouTuber. I've never done a solo video yet, so here we go. My name is Grace. I'm a 19-year-old. I'm a tarot reader, fledgling witch, gay feminist, writer, college student, you name it, I'm in, probably. So you can find me on a bunch of different places. Of course, now you can find me on YouTube, which is crazy cool. But you can also find me on Etsy. I'm Modern Unicorn Tarot, and I do cheap tarot readings there. I think they're quite good. You see for yourself. I'm also on Instagram as a Modern Unicorn. That's where pretty much my tarot life is just exploded across the screen in vivid Technicolor. I'm not even kidding. So I guess I'll start out a little bit by talking about my tarot story, but mostly this video is going to be about what I'm doing right now. What are my favorites? What's my favorite everything? I have a lot of favorites. So basically, I grew up surrounded by the esoteric and the various beyondness of that as well. As a kid, my mom always made sure to expose myself and my siblings to religions of all backgrounds, to things outside of typical religion, to a lot of different things, just so we could know what the world was made of. So as a kid, I know I grew up believing in fairies and ghosts and spirits and angels and, you know, everything was, the world was an explosion of things we couldn't see. But that was my life growing up. It was just, it was everything. Everything and then more. So I feel like when I started to get into more traditional esoteric stuff like tarot and witchcraft and divination tools and all that crazy stuff, that I had fewer inhibitions than most people. In fact, when I think I was about 12, I found my first pack of divination cards. They were angel oracle cards on a shelf at a secondhand bookstore. And I pretty much had no idea what it was, no idea what I was doing with it, but I bought it and took it home, read with it continuously almost every single day till the cards fell apart. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 years that I had that deck. I still have it somewhere. It's a really, really beat up deck now. And then I found tarot. Thanks to my mom, who had just started getting into tarot herself, I discovered how awesome it was. And I bought my first deck when I was 16 or 17. I can't remember now. It's been so long. By the way, my window is open, so plane noises are gonna be a thing. So, like I said, I feel like I've approached, like, as far as my tarot story goes, I feel like I've approached things with less inhibitions than other people. When I fell into tarot, I fell into tarot head first. No thoughts about it, just like, this is a cool thing, I want to do it. And now I've amassed quite the collection, and tarot has opened up an entire world for me that I hadn't even thought to dig into before, as far as just everything. There's so much I can't even properly explain it. I don't even know. That's kind of my tarot story. It's not very interesting. It's just one kid found a pack of cards and she hasn't stopped playing with them since. Just last month I started reading professionally on Etsy. As I said before, that's where all my readings are. I think I have 5 or 6 different readings with spreads created completely by myself. But yeah, so I started doing that last month after I'd been doing free readings for a while on my Instagram. My Instagram peeps is where it's at. If you're not following me on Instagram, you really should be. So I think I got on Instagram about back in September. It's kind of been a whirlwind as far as taking my tarot into the public realm. As far as being out as a tarot reader, I'm kind of not really, which is kind of a shame. I'd like to be a lot more open about my tarot, but I'm still a little bit afraid people are going to think it's weird. So yeah, that's, in a weird, discombobulated, turned around, sideways nutshell, my tarot story. I'm hoping there are going to be at least some parts of this video that are usable when I'm done. So now I'm going to start talking about my favorites. This video is probably going to be like super short because it's my first. So let me take you through some of the decks that I've been using right now. I'm going to try to put as much information as I can in the video. Anything I miss out, hopefully I'll put in the description box down below. But we'll see. I'm not really super versed in this whole YouTube thing. So let me start with the deck that I'm currently reaching for, which has been one I've been reaching for a while. The Spirit Speak Tarot. This deck is by Mary Elizabeth Evans, and I got this little guy, so cute, I love how small it is, from the lovely Elise of Wild Moon Woman. I bought it off of her when she was doing a deck cleanse, or collection cleanse, I should say. So why am I reaching for this? Well, because it's compact. Honestly, right now, the size is the biggest thing for me. I'm really loving just this little tiny piece of nonsense that I can just whip it out, put it in a bag, carry it with me. It's easy to transport, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm really loving it right now. The other reason I'm loving it is I'm just in a black and white, no nonsense, no frills sort of attitude. So this deck for me reads, most of my decks read on most things. I have very few decks that don't read on any particular issue, or decks that I only use to read on particular issues. Like, that's a very small number of decks, if any. But for me, this deck has been a little bit divinatory. I've been using it for a month ahead and week ahead spreads. Sometimes I'll use it for how is the situation going to turn out kind of spreads, which I actually have a spread I created myself called the Crack It Open or Geode spread. You can find that one on my Etsy shop. And I've been using it for myself as well, a lot of times actually with this deck. Because sometimes I just need the black and white of a situation. And that's been this guy for me. The other thing I like about this deck is the fact that it's, despite the fact it doesn't have any color in it, it's a fiery little deck. Totally, this just says summer to me. The passion and just going for it and no holds barred. So that's why I've really appreciated this. It's not chaotic the way like a Tarot del Fuego would be, where it's that fire everywhere. This is more just the spark that will light the fire that will burn the First Order to the ground. I'm a massive nerd, by the way. So that's been one deck that I've been reaching for lately. So another deck that I've also been reaching for this month, which surprised me, has been my personal all-time favorite deck, the Stretch Tarot by Joseph Stretch. The reason I was surprised to be reaching for this deck is because I kind of put it away and hadn't really touched it for a couple months. And that's normally how I work. I'll pull out a deck, play with it for like a month, and then put it away for a cycle, and then come back to it some other time. Mostly it's by season. The reason I've been pulling out this deck lately is because I need like a comfort deck, and for me this is my favorite comfort deck. Not even comfort deck because it comforts me, but comfort deck because it's familiar. It's kind of a theme for me lately, has been returning to the things that I've always loved. So this deck is a lovely little collage deck. Honestly, there is nothing that's not good about this deck. As far as cardstock, as far as imagery, as far as readability, this deck has got it for me. In fact, I love it so much that I got the Death card tattooed on my arm back in January. For me, I like reading with this deck when it comes to like really personal issues. So anything that's like going on in my head, or I'm like confused by, or like my emotions are just like everywhere, I turn to this deck because unlike the Spirit Speak, which is, as I said, very like pow pow pow, it's not just looking at a situation. If you asked a stranger to tell you like, well, here's this, what do you think? This is like your best guy friend who's going to be like, well, this is the way things are, but because it's you, let me tell you this. And the deck, for me personally, reads with a very masculine energy. For me, that's like a good balance for my brain, because I feel like I tend towards that feminine energy, that darkness, the moon, you know. I am very much like, if it's in the darkness, like that's where I want to go. That's where I tend to be. And so it's nice to have a deck that will bring things out into the light and go, well, let's look at it this way. Yeah, I've been reaching for it lately. I've also been reaching for, you can't tell what's in here, but I've been reaching for Maggie Stiefvater's Raven Prophecy deck. Now, the reason I've been reaching for this is because I've been reading Maggie Stiefvater's books lately. For most people, this deck is like a Halloweeny, like October-y deck. I think it's a combination of the black and orange and the very, I would say actually autumnal style as far as colors go, as far as symbolism. But for me, this deck is summer. I've been needing that summer energy lately. As soon as today's the first warm day we've had in a very, very long time, and I yanked out my tank tops right away. I was so ready for it. But I've been reaching for this deck to read for me on spiritual issues. So anything to do with spiritual, esoteric, any kind of questions I have, what kind of video should I do? How should I be thinking about this spiritual thing that I'm now thinking about? This deck is reading for me on it. It's also been reading for me mentally. Everything's going on in my head. This deck, though, wants to help me clear mental blockages. So that's what I'm using it for. Oh, look how sweet. I love this deck so much. I love Maggie Stiefvater and her style and her art and everything. Finally, the last deck I've been reaching for this month is Kyle Gray's Keeper of the Light Oracle. So the Keeper of the Light Oracle is one I got for Christmas from my mom because I kept stealing hers. It's a deck comprised of various deities, ascended masters, spiritual figures from various religions, and I've been turning to this less as to read on things and more to help me cultivate energies and cultivate relationships with different spiritual entities, beings, divine whatsits. Actually, right now on this is my little altar back here. I have a whole explanation about what it's about on Instagram, so you can go check that out. I change it monthly. But right now I have the, I'm going to butcher this, Dwalkul. He's about Dharma unfolding, or also happiness. So I personally have been reaching for these cards because I like to put different energies out on my desk, on my altar, anywhere where I'm going to see them. By the way, the deck comes with a really neat book. Because I'm a little bit all over the place with this video, I'm going to return slightly to the Stretch Tarot because I want to say one other thing I've been using this for is writing. I'm a writer. I self-published a book when I was 14, which includes a novella I wrote when I was 15. I'll put the link down below to that. It's a little bit embarrassing, but it's still okay. You can get that on Amazon. I was also published in an anthology of short stories specifically for the witchy community, and it's Yule themed. So we're a little bit past that time, but you can always check that out. I'll put that down below as well. Hey, maybe you'll have reading for next Yule. But I have been returning to my writing a lot recently. Since I started school, I've fallen away from writing as a creative outlet because I've been churning out essays for all of my classes. So when you're doing that all the time, you kind of lose your passion for it. And recently I've been trying to cultivate that passion again for creative writing specifically. So I've been using my Stretch Tarot to help me with the story. So like if I need a little bit of help with something, I whip out this baby. Oftentimes it gives me a little bit of clarity about what I'm writing. Either, does this part go here? Should I be putting this part here? This is me in a coffee shop doing this. I'm just going, am I doing this right? Is this the right place to be? Should I be, like, should I put this bit here or should I put this bit here? Move that place. Movement. The Eight of Wands. No, I would read this as you have to have more going on here. So move this scene somewhere else and then write some more stuff to make it drive forward more. That's just what I do. So yeah, that's another reason I've been reaching for the Stretch Tarot this month. I'm going to end this on books that I've been reading right now, books I've been reaching for. So I only have 2 books here, but I've been reaching for a lot of others, but we'll start with the 2 that I have here. So in on theme with the Raven's Prophecy Tarot, I've been reaching for pretty much any Maggie Stiefvater book I can get my hands on. So currently I'm reading The Scorpio Races. This is the second or third time I've read it. It's awesome. You should totally read it. She's a absolutely stunning author. Her prose is gorgeous. She puts you there. I'm just such a huge fan. So I've been reaching for this one, and on my Audible app, I have been reaching for her Raven Cycle series as audiobooks, which the Raven's Prophecy Tarot is sort of kind of a little bit based off of that series. I'm currently on the third book, Blue Lily Lily Blue, and I have been devouring those books. So Maggie Stiefvater, all the way, all of her books. Now the other book I've been reaching for, which is not fiction, it's a brilliant nonfiction, is the book In Praise of Difficult Women by Karen Carbo. So my sister picked me up this advanced reader's copy when she was at a library conference. She's a librarian. I know it doesn't look like I'm very, very far in it. That's because I try to pace myself a little bit so I don't finish it too quickly. But what Karen Carbo does is she goes through different difficult women, and she talks about their ingenuity and their genius. She talks about Carrie Fisher and Elizabeth Taylor and Rachel Maddow and Hillary Clinton and so many other women, Coco Chanel. J.K. Rowling is the first entry in this book. And what's fun about it too is this is a really like blatant look at who these women were and what did they do. So what Karen Carbo is exploring in this book is the women that we know and the women who are labeled as difficult, and why that's, you know, good, bad, whatever, why it just is. And I really appreciate that. And also, I posted about having this advanced reader's copy on my personal Instagram account, and I tagged Karen Carbo in it. Not only did she see the post and said that my post about it made her incredibly happy, because this book makes me so happy, but she's going to send me a copy of the book, signed. Ah! So those are my current favorites right now. Hopefully it won't be too long till I do another video. We'll see after I do the editing process and how much that makes me crazy. So I guess I'll say goodbye for now. And again, you can find me as Modern Unicorn Tarot on Etsy for readings, and you can find me on Instagram as A Modern Unicorn. Hopefully I'll put everything down in the description box below. Please let me know what you think of this video, since it's my first one. Give me a thumbs up if you really liked it. Comment if you really, really liked it. I don't know. Subscribe if you feel like it. I don't know. You do you, babe. I'll do me. You do you. So, thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully see you again soon. Bye! Okay, you got this.